All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I am Shaza Khan. I'm the Executive Director of the Islamic Schools League of America, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to Teach with Tech, Quranic Instruction. This is a topic that we have been hearing a lot about. We have a lot of demand for understanding how to teach Quran, Islamic Studies, Arabic, all of these three subjects really, truly in an interesting and engaging way, whether we're in person or online. So my hope is that, inshallah, the things that you'll learn today from the two presenters will be something that you can take with you, even when we're back in person, inshallah. It will happen, guys, if you're, and maybe you already are in person, many of you might be. I know that there's about oh, Isra is here. She could tell us the exact percentage of schools that are hybrid now, so both in person and online. We just did a survey of Islamic schools looking at that. So I think over 50% now are doing hybrid learning. So, you know, alhamdulillah, the last time we met and we had our Teach with Tech, as many of you might know, we have been hosting Teach with Tech for the past several months, really since the beginning of the school year, actually since August. And Sophia Jatpuri has been doing an amazing job of just giving many different tools that you all can use. So it's been really exciting to hear the enjoyment from those who have been joining and participating in that. I really hope that this is something that's not stressful for you after a full day of work. You know, you're coming back on, and I hope that it's something that's enjoyable and gives you, empowers you to do a better job, inshallah, and to do a more efficient job with your work. Briefly, if you don't know about the Islamic Schools League of America, we do support full-time Islamic schools throughout the United States. So there's approximately 300 full-time Islamic schools. And some of you might wear multiple hats. Maybe you also work in a weekend Islamic school. So there's often a lot of those multiple hats that we wear, or you're a Qur'an instructor and you just do tutoring. So whatever the case is, we are so happy to have you on. Islamic Schools League of America is so happy to be able to support you. And in a minute, I will inshallah type in the chat when I'm not presenting and speaking to you all. I'll let you know how you can sign up to be part of our online discussion group. That's an email group. That way, if you ever have questions that you want to ask or something you want to share, you can do that on that group. And I know that, mashallah, there's a lot of WhatsApp groups now. ISLA has also recently launched vPeer, which is a virtual peers platform. And we have the ISLA network there. So stay connected with us so that you can stay connected to each other and inshallah not feel so alone in this really, really what's a difficult time for everybody, subhanallah. One other thing I want to say, if you have benefited at all from ISLA, today is Giving Tuesday. I know Islamically it doesn't mean anything. From a nonprofit standpoint, we do hope for the support of those who are benefiting from our services. And so inshallah, I will share a link with our Facebook fundraiser page if you're on Facebook and you want to contribute even $1 or $5 or 20, whatever. I really feel the barakah is in everybody giving and showing that support and us really feeling like a community that's there to support one another. So those are three things that I hope to be sharing with you all in the chat. And I apologize ahead of time to my presenters. I'll have to do that when you are presenting. So without further ado, I want to just give you a brief understanding of the agenda for today. We have about 200 people who have registered, but we only have spot for 100 people on this webinar. So we will close, it will close up. I'm happy you all were able to make it. We will be recording this and we will post it on our website, our webpage, where we have posted several other workshops with Teach with Tech. So again, that's something else that I'll share with you. And we'll also send a follow-up email so that you have all these links consolidated. The agenda for today, my welcome, just understanding our group norms. We ask everybody to please mute themselves when the presenters are presenting. You're welcome to ask questions on the chat because we are expecting a full house. We are going to ask you to please not unmute during the presentation. And you can ask questions during the chat. I will be monitoring that chat, and as needed and as appropriate, I might interject and interrupt the presenter and ask them to address your questions or comments. We also know that this is a community of professionals. You all have many things that you can share too. So after each presenter, if time permits, We would be happy to open it up for discussion. We'll ask you all to please open your cameras and mics as you have something to say, because again, it's a full house. We'll ask you to raise your hand either on screen, or if you know how to raise your hand with the Zoom function, that would be even better. So each person will present for about 10 to 15 minutes. Both Shaykh Tahir and Brother Muhammad Musa are here with us. And after that, then we'll be able to have that discussion, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is my pleasure to introduce Shaykh Tahir Patel, who I have the pleasure of knowing personally. He and I both live here in Austin, Texas, and he is my son's teacher, and very savvy, mashallah, very in tune, and has found a really wonderful way to teach Qur'an in a way that facilitates individualized learning, and is something that, you know, we've talked about at the school level. How do you grade Qur'an? And so I'm so happy that Shaykh Tahir, you're here to share that with us. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, please feel free to share your screen. And you know, Shaykh Tahir, let us know if you're going to have some interactive elements, and if not, that's okay too. We can aim for that later on.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So we are just starting with Shaykh Tahir's presentation. And Shaykh Tahir, you are on mute, so I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself as he's just setting up.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah, amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna 'ilma. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Shaza and Isla, for organizing and hosting these workshops and to help us become better educators. Alhamdulillah, it's an honor to be here. So I'm just going to go through a quick presentation just to get a bit of an idea, and then I'm going to go into the actual Kami app that I'll be showing you, inshallah. So the first thing is I just want to talk about my setup, right? My desk is pretty messy right now. Books everywhere, papers everywhere. I have to get organized in terms of my desk. But my setup is I have a work laptop, alhamdulillah. The school was able to, or the school provided me with a good laptop, mashallah, and it's working really nicely. I use that primarily for school and creating everything. That's what it's used for. But when it comes to Kami specifically, I prefer to use my tablet. So that's why I had an iPad, an Apple iPad, and I have a pencil, Apple Pencil that comes with it. Yes, this was like about $100. I think it was $89 yesterday. It was an investment I made, and alhamdulillah, it's a great investment. The Apple Pencil works really nicely with the iPad. And I also have a personal laptop, which I'm currently using right now because it has its own stylus, which I'll be using and demonstrating with, inshallah, later on. So that's my setup. It can work with only your work laptop. If you have just a work laptop and that's all you use and that's all you have, Kami will still work, and you can still use various, all the different functionalities that it has to offer. Just would have a little difficult time writing, right? Obviously, without a stylus. And that's pretty much the only downside. But you'll see why exactly I prefer using the pencil or the stylus to teach Qur'an using Kami. Moving on, what is Kami? So Kami is a program, and they've made it an extension of Chrome, the Chrome web browser. So it's downloaded from the Chrome web browser, and it's a program that is used to mainly annotate PDFs, right? It's there to get the PDF and do various things to it. You can split PDFs, merge PDFs on there. You can use different tools, which I'll be demonstrating, inshallah, in a few minutes. So that's one of the main reasons why I found this to be very, very helpful, so that I can teach Qur'an using this particular program, as long as we have a document, right? A document of the Mus'haf, a document of a surah, a document of whichever juz your students are on. And this allows me to provide individual feedback. And that's one of the main things that I'm trying to focus on in this year, in this school year especially, because everybody is at home. We're not in a classroom. And a lot of times what happens in Islamic schools, in my experience, what I've seen is that the Quran classes are a lot of times very, they're done in a group, right? They're done as a group, not as an individual. So sometimes individuals receive some attention, but because there are a lot of students, every student doesn't get exactly what they need to focus on and exactly what they need to fix up in their Quranic recitation or memorization, whichever one it is. So this tool allows me to directly, one-on-one, let my student know that, hey, you need to work on this letter over here, or this needs to be done over here. This needs to be, these two words need to be connected over here. The alif is silent over here, for example, which I will inshallah demonstrate as well. There are some pros, and of course there are cons as well. We can take a minute inshallah to read through these. I'll give you a minute inshallah. Okay, so these are the pros and cons, right? The main thing is that it's in the cloud, everything is saved. You and your student have access to it. You and the students that you select have access to that file. So not everybody sees. Sometimes students are a little shy. They don't want everybody to know all their mistakes that they're getting in the Quran, because some are better than the others. Everybody's on their own journey. So this allows you to have one-on-one, feedback, and there's Quran recitation coming in, and there's feedback which is going back to the students, and it can keep going back and forth. It's not for free. They do give a trial version. I don't know. I forgot how many days it was exactly. It was quite a bit of time when we first got it in. I believe it was August, and so they gave quite a few days. I think it was about 60 days, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. I'm not sure how much they're giving now. They are growing. They said they're on 21 million users right now, and so sometimes their servers they go down. So that's an issue sometimes. It's happened a few times, and then they have they're very responsive on Twitter. So they say, oh yeah, we've had a server crash or whatever it is, and we're working on it. We got our engineers on it. For best results, it would require a tablet and a stylus, because if you want to use your hand to write, that would be the best way to do it. There is no iOS app. I'm not sure about Android, but there is no iOS app. MashaAllah, brother Muhammad Musa has an iOS app, right, for his app. So there's no iOS app for Kami yet, but they have. Oh, by the way, I'm not a representative of Kami. I'm just a teacher using Kami, and I found this to be very helpful. Alhamdulillah. They don't have an iOS app, a native app for the tablets, but you can use the web browsers that you find inside of there. And as you have probably noticed already and learned, that students sometimes they have a hard time getting the hang of a new program, whether it be Nearpod or Kami or whatever it is. It takes some time for them to learn, and then you have to actually get those Mus'haf files made and use the functions that Kami has, like the splitting, to have Mus'haf files ready to be used. With that, inshallah, we will move on to the next one. Like I said, it's not for free. If you want to access all the features and everything, the Google Classroom integration or Canvas, it requires a paid license. And alhamdulillah, Austin Peace Academy, they got it for the staff members, and so we have the licensing for the teachers and for the students as well. The way it works is the students have to sign up with their school email address as well, and then they're all put under the license of the teacher. So alhamdulillah, that is something that we were able to. It's still, it's affordable. It's not very expensive, but it definitely pays off when you see the usage coming out of it. And that is it for the presentation side of things. So let's get started, inshallah. My time is running short, so I'm going to quickly launch my browser and Extend. Okay. So I actually used to teach Hifz full time in California, or I used to teach it for a good part of the day. I used to teach Hifz, and that was my class. But this year, I'm focusing more on recitation and reading of the Quran. And so, alhamdulillah, this app allows me to really give constructive feedback to my students so that they're able to better themselves. And I have seen so far they are improving when it comes to their recitation, because now they know. Some of them have been in an Islamic school for a while, and they did some specific issues that were never pointed out to them because they were always working as a group. And so, alhamdulillah, now they're able to actually look into something that they need to work on, personally, and get better themselves in that way. So let's open up. All right. Share screen. Okay. Seems like my internet is very. Can you guys hear me? Am I still? My audio still going? Yes. Okay. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Sana. All right. And my screen is visible as well. Yes. Screen visible.
Yep.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. All right. So the way this works is we use Google Classroom. My school uses Google Classroom as an LMS. So we can go into our Google Classroom, and then I'll take it from there, inshallah. I decided to use my personal laptop because it is the Microsoft Surface and it has the stylus. That's why I decided to use my personal one. Obviously, we have to be signed in to the actual school account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into my Google Classroom. And there are multiple ways of doing this as well. You can either create an assignment using Kami, or you can create an assignment using your Google Classroom as well. So here's my Google Classroom. I'm going to have it open ready over here. Let's use contemporary. Okay. So this year, my 11th and 12th graders, they are working on Surah Yasin, right? And the goal is to become very fluent and memorize Surah Yasin. And so what happens is, using Kami, you're able to create an assignment. Right? You're able to create a Google Classroom assignment. So you can create from here as well when you're in Kami, and you can also create it from the Google Classroom. I don't want to scare my students, so I'm not going to actually go ahead and do it over there, but I will select it for myself only. So I have a mock student account, so I can see from the other side how things look. Deselect all and Tahir Patel. Okay, so I'm going to select myself, and then we're going to name it test. And then you just work out the points, the schedule, the topic, and then you attach a file. So this is how it mainly works. You need to attach a file, a PDF document, in order for this to work, right? So I'm going to go into my files, and let's see. I'm going to go into select. Okay. It could be any any mushaf, any sort of program or any sort of file needs to be uh, selected for. It just needs to be made for the. Second, just loading it up, inshallah. There we go. There is a mushaf which is available, which is a PDF file of all the different mushafs. Okay, so let's just use this one for now. All right, let's just open up this one for now. You add the file, it attaches into Kami, and you open up the file over here. So this is a Google Classroom. This is a Google Classroom assignment, right? This is a Google Classroom assignment, and you can select it over here. As soon as you assign the assignment, then each student gets their own file. And this is what happens, right? Each student gets their own individual file with their name on it. And you can basically click on anybody's file and you will be able to see what they have done. Right? So you have student work over here, for example, and we're going to choose one of my students, Zainuddin. Here he is. And you're able to see the mushaf inside of Google Classroom. You can also open it up within Kami as well. You can access it from Google Classroom as well. You can do it either way. Okay. Let's open it up in a new window so we see exactly what it looks like when we're on the actual interface in Google Classroom. Close that. I apologize. This is taking forever to load. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm using my finger right now to actually zoom in right to the page. Now, here is the interface. Okay, we're here. Alhamdulillah, finally. Surah Yasin. This is the interface. What happens is I have my students read to me either in live time while we're having our class, or if I don't have time to get through everybody, then I ask them to send me a recording. So this is one of the beautiful things about this app, is that it allows your students to recite their Quran, and then you as a teacher can come over here and you have a whole bunch of tools. On the left hand side, you have lots of tools. There are some tools where you can use to comment with your voice. You can use a text box. You can have a text comment. So you can type it over here. You can say, MashaAllah, or whatever comment you want to write. You can write it over here on the left hand side. It comes up over there. You can also make voice comments. So sometimes, as a teacher for Quran, you want to give a voice comment, right? You want to teach the student exactly what they're saying incorrectly, and you want to be able to give them the audio feedback of how to say a word correctly, And so you click on the text comment, the voice comment, and then you click anywhere on the page, and then it starts recording your voice, and then it saves it. And what it does is it saves it into the cloud, and then you can stop, and then there's comments that can come underneath it. If you look over here on the top, it has his name, right? It has, where is it gone? Spotlight. His name, Zainuddin Muhammad. It has his name there. Okay, so this student has his own file, and this is only visible by him. At the bottom, it says ZM and TP, only two collaborators on this file, right at the bottom of this page. So whenever he makes a mistake or whenever he recites something that needs correction, then I would go ahead and I would correct it. And so what they do is, and you can use different colors, and this is what I do. We go into drawing and we use the lines using our stylus. Whatever needs to be done, it is done with the stylus. You can write underneath, right? So for example, he started reciting, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. On the ra, he didn't do a shaddah properly. He didn't make the shaddah strong enough, right? It was not connected properly. So I went ahead and I circled it to draw attention towards that shaddah not being recited correctly. And so obviously this is something that you have with your students. Every teacher has their own symbols of how to, to do a certain letter, how to pronounce a certain letter, what quality it requires. Like for example, over here in the fourth verse, ala siratin mustaqim. So the sad, he wasn't elevating it. It was coming out like a sin, or the ta was coming out like a ta. So I said, you need to elevate these, and I put the arrow going up for both of them. And so he knows, okay, sad is a letter I need to work on, I need to elevate it. And then he was saying mustaqim, he was making his ta very, very strong. So I said, no, that's not a ta, that's a ta. We got to bring it down a notch, right? And if there was a mistake in the fatha, dhamma, kasra, the harakat, then you can circle those. So students receive individual feedback using this. If he wants to take away my annotations, all he does, he has to click on my TP at the bottom, and all my annotations are gone off the screen for him to practice. He clicks on them again, and then they reappear on the screen. So these are some of the things that can be done, right? So far, what my students have been doing is that they've been reciting to me in person, or on or sending me a recording, right, in different ways. So for example, over here, you see he sends a recording over here. Zainuddin Muhammad sent a recording, so I can listen to it, and then I can correct it as I go along. I can leave behind the markings, and I can leave behind my audio feedback as well, my voice feedback as well. So all of these things, yes.
If I could just interrupt for a few minutes, we've only got a few more minutes with this this tool for right now. And then if there's questions, we'd welcome that at the end. Can you play his recording and demonstrate how you would, as the teacher, listen in? First of all, how would he record himself? The same way that you would record?
The same way, exactly. They come to comment, and they can actually leave a voice comment as well. A video comment as well. They can send a video of themselves recording, recording or reciting the Quran. They can do that, or you can even do screen capture, but that we don't really use. We just use these two over here to send things back and forth.
So demonstrate for us how, and can you share the audio so that we listen, and then how would you, as the teacher, be annotating as you're listening?
Okay, sure. So let's, I'm gonna have to stop sharing, and I think I have to put on the sound, share computer sound. So let me stop share and then share again. Share computer sound. Okay. There we go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه.
All right, so over here, for example, right, so I've already marked this, right? When he recited this one, I marked it already. And so you can see my markings over here. His Rahman, the word Rahman wasn't coming out. It wasn't recited with tafkhim. It wasn't recited with a full mouth or a heavy mouth. And so I put an arrow going up on the Ra, right? Obviously, these are tajweed rules that we have already taught. And so they know exactly why I've put it there. If they don't know, then they ask that this is, I don't understand why is there an arrow there? What have I decided incorrectly? Because sometimes students, they tend to think, oh, I am reciting it correctly, right? You're hearing it wrong. But I always tell my students, is like, what really matters is what your teacher heard, what your teacher hears, right? That's how we verify. And so then they say, okay, so what am I saying incorrectly? How do I say it? And so, for example, over here on the word shafa'atuhum, right? The word shafa'atuhum, he didn't recite it, the ta dhamma, he didn't make it very clear. It was very ambiguous. And so I circled the dhamma on the ta over there, right? And so when he recites it, he knows that he has to make his lips a little bit more round when it comes to that dhamma over here and make it more pronounced and more profound when he recites his dhamma on that shafa'atuhum. So I've actually I've already corrected this one. That's why you can see the green markings that have been made. And what I do is I use the red color for the first version, the first time around. I use the red one, and then when that same thing is being recited again and recorded again, then I use a different color so they know that this is version 2, and this is the second time we're reciting this and we're making this mistake. So we need to go ahead and correct it. And I try to give them that much time at least so they can correct themselves and then be graded on that. Of course, every teacher is going to have their own rubric of how they're going to correct and how much how many points they knock out for each error, so on and so forth.
So
but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so Shaykh Tahir, we have a question here from Sister Sana.
Sure.
Sister Sana asks, after the teacher gives feedback, let's say the student sends another recording, would the original recording stay visible? And I want to add to that, is there like a date that you can look at?
Yes. So that's something that Cami is kind of lax on. It just says 19 days ago. And they actually have, okay, there we go. Let's see. They have a tracking over here as well on the side. There's a tracking that takes place for all the comments and things that come in. So everything stays in the cloud, and that's the good thing about it. Nothing gets deleted. There were instances in the beginning when they were still like trying to handle all the new users, but they are getting better at it. But everything stays in the cloud. Everything, no matter how many recordings they send and how many recordings you send. This student actually likes to send me a voice memo from his from his phone. So he records it on his phone, and then he sends me the voice memo, which I access from the Google Classroom. So I go to Google Classroom and I listen to him. Either way, whatever way it works for you, I want my students to start doing it on here now, because everything stays next to the page, right? And so this is better, where I listen to them and then I can correct them right away. What was her question? Did I answer her question?
Yeah, I think you did. So after the teacher gives feedback and the student sends another recording, the original would stay as your answer.
It stays. Everything stays. Yeah. Everything stays. So they can even compare. They can even compare between themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who hasn't ever had formal training in Quranic recitation or Arabic, I think I'm one of those students who is like, I'm saying it right when my sons correct me. And like, what is the difference between what you're saying and I'm saying? So I think that this would be really beneficial for someone like me, and I imagine a lot of those students. But I really appreciate you sharing this overview of how Cami can really assist. I think for $100 a year, it sounds like it's really a powerful investment for Islamic school administrators or teachers. I know oftentimes invest this money themselves.
Just one more thing, if I may add. So I actually teach Arabic and Islamic Studies and Quran. So there are other resources out there for the other subjects. We have Islamic Studies and Arabic, where there are a lot of PDF documents, right? And if you were in person, you would be giving them that worksheet. But because we are virtual, these worksheets can be given to them digitally, right? So I can show you some of my other students' worksheets that do Arabic work on this, and that's obviously not using this mushaf. It'll be using the worksheets over there, and then you can do typing. You can do your selections, whatever else you want to use. It's a very powerful tool to use, for Islamic Studies, Arabic, and for Quran, especially when there's a lot of worksheets involved, with a lot of PDF worksheets involved.
Thank you so much, Shaykh Tahir. We do have some more questions. You're welcome to answer that in the chat. I do want to give enough time for Brother Muhammad Musa to give his presentation too. So Jazakumullah khairan for your presentation, Shaykh Tahir.
I really apologize for the lag and everything. I'm sorry.
No, we're all used to it. It's totally fine, and we really appreciate what we gain from this. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to be answering the questions in the chat, inshallah.
Sure. All right, and Shaykh Tahir, if you don't mind just stopping the share. So we'll go ahead and move on to Brother Muhammad Musa. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khairan, Brother Muhammad, for joining us. I had the pleasure of meeting Brother Muhammad Musa and their team at Tarteel just a couple weeks ago, and I was just blown away with this app, and I got really excited. I'm so happy that you're here. I don't want to take too much time. If you don't mind giving us a little brief introduction, like a couple minutes about what brought you to the point of developing this app, and then demoing the app for us, that would be wonderful.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just want to start off by giving my sincere thanks for having us actually come out and speak with you all. Both to Sister Shaza and to ISLA as a whole, and for all of the teachers and administrators and everybody attending. I'm going to talk about Tarteel in my short presentation, but then also I'm here also to learn from all of you, and so I really appreciate that opportunity. So let me share my screen. So I'm going to do a demo as part of my presentation, but even as I'm demoing, I'd like to invite anybody who's interested to actually download our app. It's available on both the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store. You can scan the QR code that's on this slide, or you can just visit download.tarteel.io, and then you'll be able to download the app from there.
And inshallah, we'll share the links in our follow-up email as well.
Perfect. So just a little bit about me. I'm the CTO at Tarteel. I'm ex-Facebook and ex-Coursera software engineer. I have a background in working with educational software through Coursera, as well as working in a lot of different pieces of software for Facebook, including software for kids. I was most recently working on Messenger Kids, if any of you teachers and parents are familiar with that product. And I'm also a big enthusiast about Islamic technology. I've been working in the open source Islamic software community for the last 5 years, even on projects like Quran.com. And I'm very passionate about Islamic software in general. And it's always been a passion of mine even before starting working on Tarteel. So I just want to give a bit of background about why I'm here in the first place. Kids see learning the Quran as a chore. We know that. I mean, I was a kid, you were all kids. Many of you probably have kids and are working with kids, and you've seen that consistently. Even parents and teachers, when they're trying to teach kids, how to learn and memorize and understand the Quran, they'll try to assign certain goals and homework and things like that. And then the kids will go off, and now with all the distractions and devices and everything like that, they'll come back an hour later and you want to test their memorization or their recitation, and they haven't really made progress. You don't even know what they were reciting. It's very hard to keep track of the homework. And then the last thing that we've really seen is that, and even Brother Tahir mentioned it, is that students are really struggling in the current classroom environment, where in any classroom setting, there's a lot of students, and unfortunately, there's just not enough time to properly engage with every student. Sometimes in a 60-minute class, if there's 30 students in that class, each student only really gets potentially only up to 2 minutes of one-on-one time with the teacher. And so taking all of these problems, along with a lot of the other problems that currently exist with facilitating Muslims to engage with the Quran, we've actually gone on and started our company, Tarteel. So Tarteel's mission is to help Muslims better engage with the Quran through beautiful interfaces and experiences. And specifically, we're providing tools that enhance the reading, understanding, memorization, and recitation of the Quran. And we're all a team of Muslim professionals who come from the tech industry, but we're all guided by the principles of Islam and our love for the Quran. And we really work on this out of purely passion for this area and for our own needs as Muslims, and seeing the need in our community. As Brother Tahir was mentioning, there's really like so few resources when it comes to actually teaching the Quran digitally, and even like helping, like there's so many Quran apps, but they're all the same thing, just a copy of the Mus'haf on your phone. There hasn't really been a lot of improvement in terms of how we can actually connect Muslims with the Quran. And so we're all working on this sincerely and trying to be as transparent, but yet really proficient with what we're doing to serve the Muslim Ummah and help people with their faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and engaging with His beautiful words in the Holy Quran. So what we've built is a set of new and novel Quran tools powered by artificial intelligence. Currently, we support improving understanding of the Quran, as well as transcribing Quranic recitation, and we're working on correction. And then we also support searching the Quran through some very advanced means. And I think the best way to show you what we're actually doing is by giving you a demo. So I'm just bringing up my phone right now. And so you should all be able to see my phone. So this is the home screen of the Tarteel app. This is what you're gonna see when you open the app after you've downloaded it. So I'm just gonna show you basically a simple flow of how you would use Tarteel. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start reciting a surah. It's going to recognize the surah that I'm reciting and then show me the Quran with highlighting of the ayah that I'm reciting and even the exact word that I'm reciting as I'm reciting it. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها. So as you can see, as I started reciting, it recognized what I'm reciting, opened up the Quran to the exact page that I was reciting, and actually started following along with me as I was reciting. And now let's say that I'm in a class and the teacher is reciting some Quran and I'm a student and I wanted to actually understand what that teacher is reciting. Or I'm in the masjid, for example, and the imam is reciting or something like this. I can come here to the settings, turn on the translation mode. And then now I've got a bunch of settings around the font size, the font, all kinds of things like that. But now when I come back, I can actually see here's Surah Al-Zalzala that I was just reciting with the translation beside it. This is the Clear Quran translation. And again, if I start reciting, this time I'm also going to turn on a special feature we call Memorization Mode. It's actually going to hide the words of the Quran. And it's going to slowly reveal them after I've recited them. So I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to be reciting. This is actually helping me to practice my recitation. So again, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها. So as you can see, as I recited, it revealed word by word what I was reciting, and it's following along with me and automatically even scrolling as I recite. And so we've also got other features currently available in this app. One of the other main features we've got is search mode. So let's say recently I was listening to some khutbah, or I remembered some ayah that I'm struggling with, or that I couldn't remember what the meaning of it was, and I'm trying to find it in the Quran. So I can recite an ayah, I can recite part of an ayah, I can even recite down to a single word, and it will actually search in the Quran and find me all of the matches. So for example, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So I just performed a search. It immediately recognized that this is Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 286. Tapping on that result, it shows me the entire ayah. It shows me the translation here. And then even I can click continue reading, and it brings me right into the Quran. I'll turn off memorization mode, and you can see it's bringing me right into the Quran and showing me exactly that ayah that I had searched for. And then I could even continue reading the next surah or look at the previous ayahs or any of that other context. So I'll just switch back to the presentation. Perfect. So I actually took a listen to the most recent ISLA Teach with Tech session, which was very informative about the challenges with gamification and how a lot of teachers have come up with very interesting ways of adding gamification to their teaching styles for students online. And this is actually one of the things we are looking to add into Tarteel as well. We know that kids are really struggling with their engagement to consistently engage with the Quran and be excited about learning it. Even I've spoken with like famous Qurra who, are Huffaz and are reciting to everyone, and they're very well known Qurra, but you know, they talk about when they were kids, how they were struggling to actually like keep up with their hifz and actually like keep their connection with the Quran and go through all the lessons, everything like that. So one of the things we're looking to actually add to the app is gamification and habit building. And that can be through, you know, keeping track of all the hasanat you're earning during your recitation, tracking all of your progress day by day and showing you your progress, you know, week over week, giving you awards and badges for achieving certain goals, like having completed reciting a certain juz, for example, and all of these kinds of things. Additionally, on the parent and teacher side, what we'd like to introduce, and even on an individual user level, we'd like to introduce tracking and analytics. So allowing parents and instructors to see for each student, as well as for a classroom or for a group that they're leading as a whole, where is that group actually making mistakes in their recitation? Where are they spending the most time practicing? Did a certain student actually complete the assigned homework and practice their recitation? Which students are doing a lot more at home recitation than other students? And then that allows the parent or the teacher to actually go and give that necessary support that each individual child or student needs, tailored to them, but also it allows them to better use any group or class time, because they can see as a whole, you know, where did the class practice the most? Where did the class make the most mistakes? And these kinds of things. And so these are features that we're currently building, but the big reason why I'm here is we would really like to make these features as beneficial as possible for you, the teachers, the administrators, the parents. And so in order for us to do this, we need to know, you know, how you're actually teaching your students, how you're teaching your children, and get your feedback on what tools you really want to see, what would be the most useful way for you to see it, what tools do you want to integrate this with that you're currently using. And we want to understand all these questions so that we can make the best tool for you. And so we've got a form. It's bit.ly/Tarteel TWT. If you are interested in what we're building, if you would just like to give us feedback, if you have any questions, please fill out that form. Just give us your contact information so that we can get in touch with you and then learn from you so that we can build the best tool, for all of the students of the Quran, inshallah. If you would like to contact me individually as well, my email is here at the bottom left. It's just Muhammad@tarteel.io. I want to leave the rest of the time for questions, any feedback anyone has, or just sharing how you are currently teaching the Quran with your students.
Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad. I get so excited every time I see this presentation. It's just so amazing, mashallah. I love the gamification, but I'm going to try and stay quiet so that I can share out what others are asking. So please feel free to unmute yourself or ask a question. Please, as we only have 12 minutes, be very brief in your question, very pointed and directed. I do want to point out that I did put the bit.ly link there in the chat, so please do fill out that form. And I did see somebody has messaged me privately asking, can Tarteel correct tashkil and word mistakes?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's one we get very often. Right now, that's something we're working on building, but it's not available yet. Even what I just demonstrated to you is available in the Android Play Store right now. The iOS App Store is a bit behind. We released an update for it, but Apple still needs to approve it. But the correction feature is something we're still working on. Alhamdulillah, we've made some very good progress on it, but it's not available in the app yet. And so you cannot see the correction yet. We were not able to provide those corrections yet, but that's something we're actively building right now.
And I see we've got some more folks from your team here, and I appreciate some of that response there. I do want to read it out loud. I recently started using Tarteel app on iPhone 7. It's not revealing the words as I recite in memorization mode. Is it because my phone is older? Is there anything to do with that?
So we had a few bugs. That's not one of the ones I'm aware of, but we've done a lot of improvements on the Quran reading experience, and that's actually all included in that most recent update that we've sent. And so hopefully Apple is going to approve that update in the next day or two. And then definitely, if you're still having any issues at all, we have a contact form in the app. Please send us any of your feedback, any issues that you might be having, and then we can fix it for you and make it the best experience possible.
Awesome, great. Any other questions or comments, either to Shaykh Tahir or Brother Muhammad? Anything you want to see in the app, or any questions you have about how Kami is being used?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Zarina.
I had a question again about the same thing. Like when I recite an ayah and it's repeating in like a couple of surahs, portion of the ayah repeats, like some of the things repeat throughout the Quran, right? So I feel it's not like, is this something maybe you can fix it? It's not revealing the right ayah, or before I recite the ayah completely, it's displaying another surah. So inshallah, maybe as the further versions comes, this can be fixed. But I just downloaded it today and I love it. Alhamdulillah, it's an amazing app. So I'm just hoping that you add more features like the correction and then glitches like this where when the ayahs repeat in different parts of the Quran, I feel that it's not showing the right surah sometimes, but most of the time it's good. Alhamdulillah, I was amazed by the technology that you have used. And I always had this in mind. What if I just say an ayah and it displays the surah? And amazing, Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah.
Thank you, Sister Zarina.
Jazakallah khair. We have a few of those glitches, especially with cases where that ayah or a certain set of words is repeated. We're still working on just ironing some of that out, but inshallah, as you continue to use it, it's just going to get better, inshallah.
Some of there was a question about learning Arabic using Kami. As I mentioned earlier about how you can use it with any kind of PDF document, and Kami doesn't have its own built-in Arabic keyboard per se, but I taught my students how to activate and how to enable their on-screen keyboard, the Arabic keyboard, and they were able to. Alhamdulillah, it took I think about half an hour or so to get everybody. We had to divide the PC and the Mac people, and so we got it. And then there was a couple of Chromebook people. And so they're able to use the on-screen keyboard to also work with Kami for their Arabic assignment. So, for example, we were learning over here about sound endings or combo endings, whether a word is rafa', nasab, or jar, right? And so all they have to do is whatever they've learned, they go ahead and use Kami to go ahead and annotate. So I'm not there trying to recreate all of these worksheets that have already been created. Right, I'm not there trying to recreate them. They're already there. I put them in, assign them through Google Classroom, and that's one of the best things that you can do. Right, you can see them in Google Classroom. You can grade them from over here as well. Put comments, private comments for each student next to there. Right here on the side, you can see the private comments. You can write in private comments, and then you can return the assignment back to them as well. But and then because they were able to use the Arabic keyboard, they were able to type it in. Right, I showed them how to do the Arabic letters and of course the tashkil and everything as well, because at the ends are important, and so they were able to go ahead and do that. So that's something that can also be used for Arabic as well. And then we have the Yaqeen Institute, which has some curriculums for the high school students. Right, there are already four or five units that are out by the Yaqeen Institute curriculums. All of their worksheets are PDFs. Right, all of the worksheets are PDFs, so I use this with them as well. They're able to write into those worksheets whatever needs to be done. So, for example, contemporary and what's the classwork? Lots and lots of. So there's lots of worksheets that are already ready-made for the teachers to use. So we did Unit 3 for this semester, and we're just wrapped up with Unit 3. And so, for example, over here, let's see, big actors and factors. All right, so let's see. It's about the environment. This Unit 3 is about Islam, ethics in Islam, and the environment around us. So that's what they were doing. And so these PDFs are already made by Aqeedah. They're already ready, right? And so if we were in person, I would be giving them a physical copy. But because we're, virtual, I give them this, and they're able to, use Kami for their Quran classes, and they're using Kami for Islamic studies as well. And so they're giving their answers, as you can see, and they go ahead and do that. But their work, and then they can just turn it in. They turn it in, and I press return over here, and then it goes back to them once it's graded.
Thank you, Shaykh Tahir. I am sure that many of you are using some technology tools as well. And mashallah, we have actually heard from others in the past. I believe I saw Sister Haneen, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I think it's Sister Haneen, has been here before and presented as well from Bayan Academy in Florida and their team over there. So Dr. Dalia. So we have other resources, other workshops that we have done. And we look forward to hosting more as long as we have the experts, which are you all. We are happy to put on more Teach with Tech workshops. And also, I'm so happy, Brother Muhammad, that you also benefited from one of those videos. I want to say that, the other ones too, the other Teach with Tech workshops, these are cross-disciplinary. There's no typically it's not just for one subject. I think as Brother Shaykh Tahir has just shown, Kami can be used in any course. So really, as we gain these skills, as we gain familiarity with our technology, inshallah, we can make learning more engaging and be more efficient for you all, so you don't have to keep recreating the worksheets, for example. So I really pray that this has been a benefit for you all. I have posted a link to the fundraiser. I never do this in our other workshops, which today happens to be Giving Tuesday, and we're just a little shy of our goal. So any amount helps if you're able to. If not, your du'as are really what bring barakah to our work, and your engagement. Showing up and coming is really what makes me super excited to continue doing this. I know you all have put on the TV for your little ones, and you have a lot of things to get back to. We have to pray Isha and get to sleep and get ready for the next day. I appreciate you all so much. May Allah make your work easy for you. May He put barakah in your time and efforts. May He reward those who are working on these products, such as Brother Muhammad and Brother Aqeel and the Tarteel team, as well as leaders in Islamic and Quranic instruction like Shaykh Tahir and all of the administrators. Really, this is unprecedented times, and I am losing my mind with my children and my work. So I know that I'm not alone and you're not alone. So inshallah, I hope that we can do more of these so that we can see each other and support one another, even just from knowing that we're all out here doing this together, inshallah. I'm going to put my email address here. If you do have something that you are interested in sharing or you think might be of interest, feel free to email me and let me know about that, or set up a meeting so that we can meet and talk a little more. Without further ado, I would like to ask Shaykh Tahir to please conclude the meeting with a dua. And inshallah, we will be in touch. We will send you an email with this recording, as well as a link to sign up for the IECN, our email discussion group. And what else? And if you sign up for that email discussion group, you'll find out about more of these opportunities, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan from me. Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله علانيته وسره اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما يا أرحم الراحمين. Forgive our shortcomings, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Have mercy on us, our families, our communities, our country. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Have mercy on the entire world, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Remove the pandemic, remove the COVID pandemic, so that we can once again reunite in our schools, Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Please forgive any shortcomings or any mistakes that were made today in our presentations. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Allow us to use these technologies in a positive way. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Allah, allow us to put the light of the Quran and the Sunnah in the hearts of our students. Ya Allah, protect them in their faiths. Ya Allah, protect us in our faith. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Keep us steady and steadfast in these trying times. Ya Allah, all those who are sick, grant them shifa. Ya Allah, ya all those who have passed on from this world, have mercy on them and forgive them. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Ya Allah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Whoever has any permissible needs, Ya Allah, grant them their permissible needs. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Thank you all so much. I'll stay on for a few more minutes, and I just want to thank you all. If anybody has anything they want to talk about or ask me, I'm here to listen. Take care, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Have a great night. Thank you to our presenters.